Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to my YouTube channel. No guitars today because I'm going to teach you how to program MIDI drums. So, I'm using Reaper, and this is a template project that I use for the 14 NTS Suite version 2 review that I published. Did I publish it? I don't know. As you can see, I divided my drum tracks into 1, 2, 3, 4 tracks. I'm using a multi-track mode: kick, snare, toms, overheads, and of course the main drum. As VST plugin, I'm using Perfect Drums version 1.6, if I'm not wrong, and for this particular review, I'm using Perfect Kit number 4. As you can see, I'm not using any sample from outside, just the internal instruments. And the important thing is that to use a multi-track mode drum, I routed every instrument to each specific channel in my DAW. So for example, the kick goes to 1, 2, snare to 3 and 4, the toms go to 5 and 6, and all the hi-hat, rides and bells and overheads go to out 7 and 8. This way I can control each set of the drum. So I want you to listen to the drum track with and without the other instruments. So sounds pretty heavy, I must say. Let's see in detail how it is made. You see the song, it's 170 BPM, quite fast I must say, 4/4 tempo, straight to the point. So I always tend to use 1 or 2 bars before the actual riff start, and you can hear them now. What I like to do every time is to insert cymbals and crashes and splashes on the first bar because it gives a nice accent to the song. Alright, so let's move on to the first bar. Now, I don't know if this is right, but I always tend to record the guitars first and build the drum track over it. The guitar track is very straight, very square, so it's very easy for me to insert kick and snare, alternating them. So let's delete everything and rebuild it from scratch. I'm using shortcuts here, so Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V. And always try to follow the flow of the song. So you start with the kick, you end with the snare, you start with the kick again and end with the snare again. Let me say as a disclaimer that I am not a drummer and I will never be. I absolutely know nothing about drums except from what I see on YouTube and at concerts. So take my words with a grain of salt. I'm definitely not the best one when it comes to teach drumming. Now, after you built the bottom of your drum track, which consists of kick and snare, it's a good idea to insert the cymbal, the ride what you want. And usually it measures the tempo of the song, so it's a good idea always to insert one item of the ride or cymbal for each measure. Not the first, not the last, because you know, the first I add flashes and crashes for the accent, and in the last beat of the measure I like to put toms and outros and fill-ins. Always remember that a real drummer only has 2 legs and 2 arms, so it's not possible to play more than 4, or I'd say 3 instruments at a time. Now, what I always tend to do is to copy and paste each measure into the next one and change something here and there, you know, to make it more sexy, to make it more listenable, and not to be so easy to listen to. Going on with the same thought, one thing that I always like to do is to accelerate. And I'm sure that accelerating is not the perfect word for teaching this, but duplicating the speed of the beats. I want you to notice that now, from bar 95 onwards, the kick and the snare are a lot more frequent, and this speeds up everything. And yeah, it's a good idea to make the song not as boring as before. Alright, so let's delete everything and redo everything from scratch. Always remember to put accents. So you hear that the guitars do that ta-ta, 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 so it's a good idea to put plish, 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 plish. Alright, now, bar 114. You hear that pinched harmonic, it's great, and I want the people, the audience, to notice it even more. So, how should I do it? I just stop. You see, 140.3 bar. I don't know how to say it in English good. However, stop everything and put kick, snare, and crashes there, because the people will notice it. And go on with the fill-in to the next beat, which is faster. You hear it's faster than before, right? So let's put in a lot of kick drums. Another thing, you can see it from bar 122 and 126. Now, what I like to do, the fill-ins to the other beats are different. I usually make the first a little less complicated than the second. Why? Because the second will bring you to another kind of section of the song. In this case, it will be from a harmony in bar 126 onwards to a sort of breakdown from 131 onwards. And how do you do it? Well, you first speed the fill-in and then go very slow. Always remember to kind of synchronize the kick drum to your picking hand. It's a great breakdown, I have to say. It makes you wanna headbang. And you can really see from 131 bar onwards that I'm using overheads like hi-hat, splash, crash cymbals in general, just to count the measures, count the tempo of the song. So it will be easier for the listener to actually listen to what you're trying to tell. And I'm trying to tell that this song is very heavy. So you want to hear everything nice and heavy and slow. And here is how it sounds. What's next? A solo part. So I guess everything will speed up a bit. And yeah, you can really see the difference and you can see what I'm talking about. Because if you compare bar 140 and bar 145, for example, you see that before the hi-hat or splashes or crashes were 2 for each bar. And now become 4. So now we're actually at the end of the song, and the only thing that remains is the final accent. And please don't underestimate the importance of the final essence. It's like saying bye to your listener, so make it very heavy and strong. Alright, now let's try to do the same thing from scratch with another review that I did some times ago that was about version 3 of the 14 Nameless suite. So I want you to listen to the track with and without the guitars. Alright, so let's start from scratch. As always, a little intro, let me delete everything and rebuild it from scratch. Oh, another thing, I always tend to use the same velocity and volume for each item of my drum tracks. I don't know if it's good or not, it's up to you. Do whatever you want. Basically, the only thing that changes is the volume of the sample that you're hearing. Now, what happens from bar 290 onwards? There's a very good riff, and I want it to be as straight as possible so that people will always remember it. So, the easiest way to do is to put crashes everywhere. Listen to it. Now, from bar 227 onwards, things change a bit, because there's that strange syncopated beat from my riff, and I want it to be noticed, so I'll accent it, I'll put an accent on it with kick, snare and crashes. So now there's the solo part, and everything is going to speed it up. As always, a quick fill out to measure 243. I'm keeping things simple in the lead part, because I want people to notice the guitar solo more than the drums, so it's very straightforward. Always don't forget the final accent. Alright folks, this is all for today. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel and be sure to click the bell button to be notified whenever I'm posting new videos and reviews. Also, if you're a metalhead like me, don't forget to check out my brand new instrumental solo album Musa. It's out now and it's available on all digital platforms. I'm sure you'll find some riffs and chunks that you like. Thanks for watching, see you the next time.